everyone. Welcome to the Watchalong. Spurs taking on Chelsea. Kickoff is in 3 minutes over here. Matush is in the house. Mecca is here. Matush is only joining us for the first half. Mecca is in here for the long run. Gentlemen, what a weekend. We didn't even play. We should just take a month off, see if they catch up in the first place, and then decide if we're going to play or not. But it's been an awesome weekend. Mecca, how much hopes do you have in Spurs just adding to this awesomeness?
I'm hoping it's a draw. I'm hoping we just have a day of draws and spoil the football pools, as they used to say in England. But I mean, like it's from the existential angst of last week against Newcastle to this weekend actually turning out to be a bloody good weekend, and probably even better than last week's was for us. I don't think Chelsea lasts the course. I think they're having a good patch of form. So I think any result will, in hindsight, be a great result for us. But I think whoever mentioned that Spurs could be 4-0 up or 4-0 down, we've got it on the nose. Let's hope it's 4-0 up.
And I think that's what makes this game. I think it'll be a good game to do a watch along to. How about you, Mitush? I mean, we talked about this before. Are they really a threat to the title run and stuff like that? And I mean, I guess you never know, right? So this would points lost over here would really help the cause.
It would definitely help the cause. For them, they're probably looking at it the same way that we look at matches against Everton, in that form gets thrown away during these kind of derbies. So you can't necessarily feel like you lose the title in a game like today if they happen to drop points, but it certainly will hurt quite a bit. So I think we are lucky more than anything that we didn't have to go through Everton to see how we would fare with the end of the weekend results. I think that being able to not have to play that game at all and now having it in the back of our minds is something in the future that we can take care of is a nice feeling.
Do you guys think as this has had any effect on how they played? The fact that we didn't play in the morning, is that almost added pressure in some ways where they had to get something out of it? Whereas if we play first thing in the morning and get a draw, it could be, for example, totally different, Mecca, in terms of like maybe how they approach the game. I mean, they know they have to get 3 points, but there's something to be said about, holy shit, they lost points. We really got to get going here.
I think there might be something to that. But for the Arsenal game, I think the Arsenal game was essentially the issues that, if you've been watching Arsenal and those comparisons to Stoke, I think results like this are coming more and more frequently now for Arsenal. I think they're going to because they are almost relying on that really weird, let's all stand around the goalkeeper and make him our best friend and then launch the ball in. And that's all they seem to have for all that great attacking intent they had when Arteta first came along. For City have just been City. They thought they were out of the hump after that win, and then they went straight back into it because going by what I've seen about that post-match reaction from Guardiola, he's losing the plot. He doesn't know how to cope with this at all. So I think it is extra pressure knowing they have to get points, but they're not in good positions to do so. Chelsea right now are probably in the best position to take advantage because they're on the up right now under Maresca. But for Arsenal and City, I think it's just simply a case of they're both hitting some sort of a wall and neither one knows how to get out of it. And the worst thing that could have happened was had to win a game on a weekend when Liverpool didn't play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Oh, and the kickoff, the game has started first minute.
Kulusevski should have just taken that shot.
Yeah, why didn't he just take the shots? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
And it's a corner kick. I mean, here's the thing. Spurs can really hurt you like in situations like this. This is why I don't consider Chelsea as much of a threat, because I don't think they're the finished product yet. And you see Van der Ven, and as we look at the lineups over there, Romero back in action, that kind of helps some of their weaknesses in the back line, because then at least they can defend a little bit because they have pace in the back. Well, Van der Ven has pace in the back.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, pretty much it's just Mickey back there trying to lose his lungs every time he tries to run back on every single sprint. But I think both teams play very similarly in the sense that they're both very attack-minded. They push the defenders up, and they're both going to leak goals. And so if that's something, especially in Chelsea's point of view, if they want to challenge for the league this year, they're going to need to shore up that back line. I don't think, they've purchased so many keepers that I don't think Sanchez is still the answer. I mean, he can't play with his feet as well as Maresca probably would like him to. And the defenders too, they don't play as well. Like Colwell's fine, right? But outside of that, you don't have much else on the ball in way of, I guess, that calmness that you like to see from your center backs on the ball.
Oh, Arteta just had a hard on because it's a corner kick for Chelsea over here. So I'm sure he's just getting excited seeing corner kicks at this point. But so here's the thing. Chelsea is, even Jamie in our panel calls it like the Palmer FC, Macca. How much of that is an issue? Because I'm assuming a lot of other fans are kind of considering us, Mo Salah FC or something like that. And Tottenham is raining stuff down to the pitch right now as we speak. Kevin is in the house. What's going on, Kevin? Yes, I mean, it could not be any better results right now. But what do you guys think? I mean, is this team too dependent on Palmer, or is kind of like us with Mo and maybe Arsenal with like Odegaard or somebody like that?
I think it's like both of these teams, like Chelsea and Spurs, just to go back a little bit, both play like we did under Klopp, except they don't have Virgil van Dijk and Alisson at the back shoring things up, and they don't have Matip in central midfield, and they don't have Firmino, or Mane. So basically the bad parts of the Klopp era are basically what these teams are. But for Chelsea, I think it is Cole Palmer FC as much as it is Rodri FC at City. There's not enough variables to count on. Whereas that's why we're happy with what Klopp left us with. He left us with a lot of different variables and Darwin Núñez to horse teams. To hordes teams, Salah is Salah. He's a legend of the game. I think the modern game at least. Jota, when he's fit, is a player that'll hurt you. Diaz, the form he's been on, he'll hurt you. McAllister can hurt you. Szoboszlai can hurt you. Van Dijk can come up from the back and hurt you. There's a lot of different weapons. Whereas I don't see beyond Palmer outside of maybe Jackson if he's having a purple patch, but he just seems like a Christian Benteke type. Like he's a good figurehead, but he doesn't always score. Unlike Darwin Núñez, who just doesn't always score. And the only figure on his head is his ponytail. I think it is a case of Cole Palmer FC. I don't see where that team gels without him.
Wow. Sorry, that's one.
Yeah, I missed that.
Wow, our boy. See,
our boy. Yeah, seriously. Like, let's take Solanke back over Núñez.
Solanke FC.
Wow, this is why I feel like this Chelsea's back line. I
mean, yeah, that you just chalked down to bad luck, really. Yeah, but Cole will probably
chuck that down to bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, Cole should have done better there. He should have come across.
I think that
was a great
really
run.
Good movement.
That was a great movement from Solanke. Yeah.
Yeah, because Colwell thought he was in front of him because he initially was, but while you watch over your shoulder over there. Wow, this is.
I just want to point out the poetry of Chelsea losing that goal to a slip. I mean, they've been banging on about it since 2014. Hopefully, this will be something we can bang on about for a while.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So going back to that conversation we were having, in terms of, Palmer FC and stuff like that, and Odegaard and Mo, and every team is going to have some central figures, right? But it was in one of the WhatsApp chats, an Arsenal fan was getting way too excited after the Newcastle game, talking about if something happened to Mo, they wouldn't know, we wouldn't know what to do and stuff like that. But they've said this before, Mateusz, for AFCON. And we've said it before for AFCON, and that's even when we sent Mane and stuff in the bag, this team, at that time, still continued to score. It wasn't we didn't drop off, whereas I feel like if Palmer is gone for a month, Chelsea is gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, We can play this game with anything, though. I mean, there's a chance that if Palmer goes down, Neto picks up that role just fine. I think Pedro Neto has the ability to play that Palmer role. And if you also have Nkuku that can come off the bench, and you've got some other weapons too. I think they might struggle, but I don't think they're as dependent on Cole Palmer as we think they are. They just happen to benefit from him being on the pitch all the time. So I really don't think it'd be damaging, but not as damaging as I think.
Okay, so you're not saying like
I don't think they're as reliant.
Okay.
But I would also really like to quickly say to Mecca's point about the slip chant. I don't know if you guys were watching the Palace City game. I think it was because I had it on the goal rush as I was driving to work. And the game was at Sellers Park. And there was the Steve Gerrard slipped on his ass chant going in that stadium. Like, I think we're stuck in City's fans' heads now forever too. And they're just reverting back to old chants because they can't think of any good ones. I want to go back and rewatch the first, I think it was within the first 15 minutes. You can hear that chant loud and clear. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? Where is Liverpool in this scenario?
Kevin, what's going on over there? You guys can't control it. But actually, I forgot to thank Kevin for their chip in over there. I kind of knew that was going to be a tough matchup. And really, they could have won that game as well. I think you can kind of like comfortably say now that City is not going to be a threat.
I don't want to comfortably say that.
Really? Can you comfortably say it, Mecca?
No, I wouldn't go that far. But I think they're slowly becoming a team that will not be an ongoing threat over the next few years. I think once
year, though, do you think they can
goes,
still make a run for the title?
If they're still struggling by Christmas, I think it's done for them. They may look like they're going to make a run, but it'll be a false run because they'll start focusing on the Champions League a bit more and taking those rotation risks. But yeah, I just don't think City. I don't think it's so much that we're in their heads with that chant. I think it's just that it's very easy for Liverpool to get 100 people together in a pub to come up with a new chant. I don't think it's really easy for City to get their 50 fans from all over the world together before a game to come up with stuff. So that's probably the main reason.
That's fair.
Man, I really like Van der Ven, man. Well, we were rumored to get him. I do question the durability, I guess.
Those were the days.
Well, I mean, Kevin is saying, and I agree. I mean, I was thinking actually when the possibility was there, because I was kind of worried about this game coming on the back of like the Newcastle game with no Konate and stuff like that. So I would definitely feel more comfortable having Konate and McAllister in a lineup facing Everton than, what we were going to have. Oh, dude, why are you waiting for the ball? This game is wide open, by the way, which is what I was hoping. Kind of reminds me of the watch-along we did for the City game with Spurs, which was a fun one.
The problem with Van de Ven in this current situation is, where would you play him? Would you play him as a left back?
Oh, I like that.
Did you do Van Dijk, Konate, Van de Ven, and Connor Bradley? Because
what is he playing with, like flip-flops? Because Cucurella is constantly on the ground over here. What the fuck?
He's still
just fell his ass again.
He's still in Spain.
And
speaking of cool
another one. Cucurella's flip-flops 2, Chelsea 0.
I think what we said about this, whoever said it would be 4-0 Spurs or 4-0.
He's going to change his shoes.
He's coming off.
He's coming to change his cleats.
I don't know. Who made these? What is this?
I hope he gets a yellow for running off the pitch there without permission.
Take that shit out of here. That's a horrible commercial for what the other brand is. Can we zoom in on the shoes that he just threw out? Come on.
A lot of parents of Chelsea fans supporting kids are now scratching that brand off their Christmas list.
We're like, oh, we bought Joey Cucurella's shoes. No, he's on.
Yeah, but again, he slipped, but then you had two other chances to.
I don't think he's in the vision, is he, Solanke? I'm assuming that's what they're looking at.
Oh no, he's not. No, he's not. He's outside of the goal.
On?
What a great strike, by the way.
And he does the smart thing of not even putting a foot, like not even a twitch towards the ball. Hey, there we go. It just this first 11 minutes just needs the Benny Hill theme tune every time he's on the ball.
I hope he slips the first time he touches the ball with these cleats on. Oh, they are all this. How about 9, guys? That'd be fun. Oh, come on.
In the box? Yeah. Oh,
gosh.
That's a corner, isn't it?
Should be. No?
Every time there's a corner, Arteta gets a hard on. Oh, he's off.
Yeah, he was off.
Spencer says, "Does City even have 100 fans?" I don't know. It would be interesting to see like how their home games are now. They had open spots when they were winning nonstop. So let's see what happens now. But
that's a good question.
It gets so bad that, like, my dad still goes on about how they were the best supported team when they were back in League Two.
Really?
I mean, they were
like, but then they became like irrelevant for so long.
I think it was because it was the cool thing to support City instead of United then, so they were even more steadfast in their support, because they're not just going to jump on the United bandwagon. They're cool fans. They're City fans.
That does have to make it extremely painful for United fans, though, right? I mean, going through what you're going through while the misery side of the City is winning everything. That's to make what your pain is even more.
I mean, I'd love to know what that feels like, because there's never been a period of Everton domination. You were down on a down year.
Not that old, yeah. Oh, here we go. Romero's hurt again. I mean, seriously. Oh, yep, he's gone. There you go. Here's your man bun.
I thought you were about to call him my boy. And I was like, I don't know where that one came from. I'm just waiting for a shot of Mudryk, because you're not going to stop.
Oh, yes. When is he going to come in? Are you devastated that he cut his hair?
No. He needed a fresh change. He thought maybe he wouldn't be as recognizable. He forgot that he had all those stupid tattoos on his neck.
Yeah, I mean, is this a new signing? This kid is good. Not like that Mudryk piece of shit that we signed last year. Like, yeah, I mean, Spencer said Chelsea is lucky it isn't 3 or 4. It could have been. Focus on the key is going to be his cleats. Okay, Romero is going to be gone for another 2 months. It has to be extremely frustrating, but couldn't happen to a nicer guy. He's not a big fan of his. Not in my top 10 list by any means, but,
It's such a Spursy player thing to do, though, to be like 2-0 up against your like biggest rivals, almost second biggest rivals after 14 minutes, and then go. If I come off injured now, I can say I kept the clean sheet.
It's not my fault. Are you guys buying all these rumors regarding Mo, by the way?
I don't know what to think about that.
That's something like that you would think would be everywhere, right? Not like one paper got the dibs.
And I've received several different notifications from different user
But is
names.
It all based on the Daily Story?
I don't even. Yeah, it doesn't even have anything. It just has a picture of Mo with the emoji of a pen and the paper, and that's all it is. And it's like, yeah, anyone can say that.
I think the fact that it was in the Daily Mirror is a. I mean, it is a rag, but it's not the scum levels. They do have some degree of tiny amount of integrity, as much integrity as it can possibly get in British media. So, like a thimble full of integrity.
Yeah, this is going to be, man.
I think it's got to be a thing, but it's not going to be what we all thought, like a 2-year deal and all that. It's going to be like maybe 1 year and an option or something.
I don't think people would people care. I mean, the only reason I want 2 years is I don't want to have the same goddamn conversations this time next year,
I'll be happy with 1 year if they're looking for a way to get rid of Nunez and replace Nunez and Salah with somebody who's going to get goal. That's a point I wanted to make earlier on. about Natush talking about Cole Palmer is that like you can substitute in his role with a player, but his goals not necessarily. That's why goal scorers get the most money and why they go for the most biggest transfer fees. It's a rare event sport, so if you can book those odds.
Oh, that was a good shot.
See,
that was
okay. This will. It's gonna be 5-4.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game to watch. Sancho driving United fans crazy by performing everywhere else he goes.
I just want to point out it's not going to be a good game. Natush just saying that because as soon as he leaves at half time, it's going to turn into a bar fest for the second half, and we're going to have to generate interest in it.
You know, by the way, we were talking about in the other Discord channel for the panel show last week. Alan said if Fulham beats Arsenal, he's going to take shots
of Malort
for every what. So they're trying to figure out now. What does he do for lost points? Like a Malort cocktail of some sort, or what are we going to do with him?
I don't think Malort is that bad, but then again, I've had enough Malort. Enough Malort to not have to ever have anyone drink it again. That was my shot of choice.
What is the closest thing
to the taste?
Yes.
So I'd say picture yourself out camping with the family.
You already lost me.
You're having a great time. Right?
Are you writing the copy for this alcohol by any chance?
No.
It just looks like an old magazine advertisement and a picture of like some old dude in the woods with his son, or is it his stepson? Wink, wink.
This description is going to give you the exact taste in your mouth of what it is, though. That's why I try to paint the picture.
I gotta repeat, or is it his stepson? Wink, wink.
So what you're doing is you're camping, right? And you start seeing all these bugs, all these mosquitoes just coming at you. You're going crazy. You need the bug spray. You're running, chasing, trying to find the bug spray. You run into the tent, you grab it, you spray it all over yourself, and you get a ton in your mouth. That's what Malort tastes like. And you're just running around
definitely commercial
in fear with this shit taste in your mouth, and it doesn't go away for hours.
Oh,
and that
does not look.
Wait. That was your shot of choice?
Yeah. So okay. I know now that I say that, it seems weird, but there's no sugar in it. And I had so much of it that it became tolerable. And I'd wake up the next morning feeling fine. I wouldn't feel like crap because all the sugary shots and the sugary drinks, that's when you feel like shit the next day if you take a lot of those. But the Malort, easy.
Some people, some people suffer for their shape, apparently, that we don't. Mecca. But I will not drink off and have a little bit of extra weight if I have to intake some of the sugar. By the way, is this true? Kevin says Benteke is the top scorer in Major League Soccer, which just ended, right? So he won top scorer. First of all, I didn't even know
Benteke the only thing he's ever won.
When did Benteke come here?
Oh, a few years ago. He's been playing for
TC. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Major League
23 goals. Okay, but here's the thing. He had 23 goals in 30 games. Luis Suarez had 20 and 27, and Messi had 20 and 19. Messi just didn't play as much.
Yeah, Messi did not play even when he played, to be fair. Oh, dude.
He's going to dine on that for years now, Benteke. You remember that year I was a better goal scorer than Messi?
Okay, about time. I was wondering when some of these counters, which is, what Spurs thrive on, being stopped by fouls and them not getting any freaking calls for it. By the way, if you're watching us, listening to us, whatever the heck you're doing, if you are not subscribed, give us a subscribe. 990 people. We said 1,000 by Christmas, so every single body helps, and we will send somebody who's the 1,000th special gifts. A night out with Macca or something along those lines. I was trying to.
That'll be the best 10 minutes of your life.
Oh yeah, grab a friend. Kevin, you should have the rest of New Zealand subscribed by now. I don't know what's taking so long, but
all 5 of them.
Spread the word.
My cousin is from New Zealand, and like she's like a second cousin, third cousin maybe. Like she did the whole like family, getting in touch with her Irish family, kind of a deal. And it seems to me that they're all Liverpool fans, at least in her part of the woods.
Why is that?
She's in like North New Zealand, which is apparently huge. I always assumed New Zealand was like small, like Ireland, but it's like the entire eastern seaboard, from Florida to Maine.
Really? Wait,
yeah,
what?
it's huge.
That's insane.
Dude, this is like a basketball game.
The maps have lied.
That's because you're believing in that global earth nonsense, Matoush.
I do need some more flat earth in my life.
Spurs in the box. Panic. There's a lot of wholly wide open, man. That's why I'm hoping, like, against Spurs, if we keep control, like, you can keep yourself under control. You can get so many goals against them because it is so open. Just can't get caught in the basketball pace of the game because that's what they want you to do. But
that's like, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like playing Chelsea, I think it's the same. I think it's the same plan almost. Like, whereas we played on emotion under Klopp. Yeah, missed your chance.
Oh,
I think if you
hit that Curtis Jones.
I think if you'd hit that first time across the line, that might have been a better outcome. But yeah, like Chelsea are the same. Like they're just like they're playing at the pace that we used to play at under Klopp. If you just don't panic against them, then they'll leave you a ton of space to attack into.
I'm rubbing up on the Spencer over here. Did I say holy wide open, Batman, or does some? Okay, because I do say holy Batman a lot. I know, man. I feel like you watch this team, and I do like a lot of their players, and I think it's actually like a team that I'm like, I'll take him. You know, there are players like that.
Which one?
I said it about every team. Spurs.
Okay.
I mean, Chelsea has some players that I would definitely wouldn't mind having on our roster, kind of a thing. But I feel like it's just the way they play is just asking for trouble.
I think the telltale sign is that Celtic fans loved Big Ange at Celtic, but that openness annoyed them, and now they're praising Rodgers for being more defensive minded. Brendan Rodgers, which tells you exactly all you need to know about Ange Postecoglou's defensive systems.
Or lack thereof, yes.
But I mean, like to be fair to him, like it's he comes out and says every week we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to get better at it or not. So like, there's no surprises when you play. You just have to be able to handle it, and if you can, I think you're in good shape.
But I mean, if the system is risky, doesn't matter how well you do it. You might lower the risk, but the system is still risky. Like, you might be more successful or whatever, but ultimately, the way you're doing it is risky. And whenever there is risk, very likely that you're going to suffer at one point. And I feel like, we did it a lot, right? And when that press up top, and they don't even press like we did, but if that press up top, if you don't win the ball, and if somebody is able to lift their head up, it's done. Because, it doesn't matter how good your center backs are. You're playing against Premier League players.
No, you're hoping that you just end up scoring more goals. I mean, if you score more goals than the other team, you win the game, though. You can leak in a couple goals, but if you're going to score 3-4, you take that. That's the risk that he's taking, I suppose.
But I mean, how many teams have said that's how we won? We score more than everybody else. There's a reason why they say defense wins championships, right?
Yeah, but
I'm not saying you're. Oh, was there a handball there?
Might have been.
Gorilla has not fallen with the new cleats. Maybe he was doing this to get a sponsorship deal with these new cleats. It's ever since I put on these. If he's on the TV tomorrow saying, I put these on and never slip or something like that, this was all a setup. I really want to know what he was wearing beforehand.
I feel like both cleats were Nikes.
but the old one. It's time to change them. Maybe brought to you by Nike. It's time to get the new cleats.
Out with the old, in with the new.
But look, this is the thing for me though, being like an old fart, is that it seems because there's always slips, like slips that you don't expect to see in football on pristine billiard table pitches. Is that in the old days we used to change the studs on our boots to match what the ground was. So it was a bit soft, you put in the longer studs.
Yes.
It was a bit dry, you put in the shorter ones. They don't seem to do that now. They don't seem to like do in the warm up, like figure out, you know, what's the pitch like? What's the running of it? Is it fair? Is it there's the Irish horse racing coming out. Is it fair to good? Is it middling to soft?
Yeah, that's about my pay scale.
Which
there.
horse shoes do I need to wear? But like they don't seem to have any sort of like they don't seem to take the pitch into account in their strategy, which seems mad to me. Because that is
was it, by the way, that horrendous. They were talking about how they came out, they warmed up, it was fine. They went back in, they watered the pitch, and when the players came back out, everybody was slipping and sliding. I can't remember what game it was. I thought it was one of our games, and the complaint was they like overwatered or whatever, like before the kickoff. But I can't remember what game it was. So like going back to what you're saying, because I don't see as many. I mean, I don't know, like the new shoes he got. I'm assuming this is the shoes with the, I don't know, like shorter cleats or whatever. Not just, just a different model or anything like that. But yeah, you don't see them change it as much, even when they slip and slide. It's almost like I gotta adjust how I walk as opposed to change the shoes. Oh, that was actually a teasing ball. Goal kick. I don't know. This game looked like it was going to be 9, like Matush was saying. Sure doesn't feel like it now. But then again, you can see Spurs scoring any second, and that's what's great about watching Spurs. Now look at Cucurella.
Let's see more slipping.
It's the shoes.
So there used to be a kids comic strip. It was in a comic. It wasn't a comic strip. It was like a comic character called Billy's Boots. It was in Tiger. If anybody's an old fart like me, and it was basically this.
What is it called again? I'm an old fart like you, but we're from different necks of the woods.
It was like a comic book, like a compendium each week kind of deal, called Tiger. And one of the stories in it was Billy's Boots, and it was this English kid who got a pair of his dead granddad's boots, and they were the old style, like mining boots almost with the ankles, and they would take over in the middle of soccer games he was playing and like guide him to where he had to be, and he would save in a 5-4 game he'd scored the 5th goal against the rival school every week. It was did so many rivals. You think they were like a terrorist school or something like that. They had so many people against them.
Was that part of your coaching thing? You're like, bring your grandfather's boots next week.
Bring your grandfather's boots. Especially if he's wearing them at the time. But yeah, that's what there's. It's Billy's Boots. It's the boots making him do all the slipping.
It's like the American version would be Like Mike. I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie or it was early 2000s. Some kid in an orphanage found Michael Jordan's shoes.
Yeah.
And put them on and then ended up joining the NBA at like 12 years old or whatever it was. Super cheesy. But
sounds about right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, let's be honest. There was also that movie where they let a dog join the NBA as well, wasn't there?
Hey,
there's nothing in the rules against it.
You be careful how you talk about Air Bud, okay?
Stitch watches that movie every day.
You're crushing the dreams of Leo and Stitch, you fucking monster.
Look, if you did an NBA, we can do it in the Premier League.
Yeah, but never do it in a cold and rainy night in Stoke, though. That's for sure.
2-1, but Chelsea, I mean, we know Spurs can't score, but let's face it, it's like watching the game right now, it would be against the run of play if Spurs got a goal.
I mean, it seems like they've gone into a shell now.
Yeah, last 7 minutes.
Oh, that was risky business. Is that Colwell?
Yeah.
Remember when everybody on
remember when we wanted Colwell? I was gonna say, remember when we all wanted Colwell?
I mean, would you mind Colwell? Probably no, but like I don't love him. Like
depth purposes right now, sure. I don't think he gets over Verge, obviously.
What
so
is that? This is what drives me nuts sometimes with goalies. Ooh, that's a card.
Red. Send him off.
Yeah, somebody is getting a card out of this, I would think. Or should. Like, isn't that reckless the way you go in there? Like, that's like an old school tackle, Mecca, where, ball or guy, the way he's going in there right now. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, that's a red. That's right over the top of the ball.
That will be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but.
It's, if there was consistency, we could probably get an idea of what would happen. Did he not even get a card out of that?
Didn't even get a card.
No, he didn't get anything from that. He got 100 million.
It's the boots made me do it. The boots made me do it.
Blame Nike on this.
That is absolutely absurd if you didn't even get a card.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I
know what you guys are saying for consistency, but
Curtis Jones had a red for the same exact
thing.
I
know what you mean. That was bullshit too, though. You know what I mean? Like I'm against the rule, I guess. But like going back to what you're saying, if it's going to be consistent, he should be getting something for it too. But
yeah, but I want something retroactively for that shit mistake that they had last year.
Didn't they double down on that one?
The next red Curtis gets, no matter what it is, they take it away and he doesn't get banned. That's what I want to see.
I'll tell you what, if Chelsea don't get a third over here, I can see Chelsea going Spurs on this. Oh, hit the post. Did Jackson literally just push Neto out of the way? It's like, here, let's leave him open. Just in case you time your jump, let me get you out of the way.
You can't get up that high anyway.
Yeah. I can mistime my jump and still be higher than you, Neto, so get out of the way. Nice.
Yeah, no, Sanchez is not good.
Oh, you gotta finish that, man.
He's probably better than Kelleher, though.
Here we go. Here we go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
For this whole game. Like, somebody say something about goalies.
and if nobody knows what that's about, they should join the Discord channel. That's where we get all the craziness.
Nick says, "How bad is the league this year? Is the league bad, or are the top teams not as good as?
Isn't this what we've been hoping for?
Yeah,
to
have this?
Yeah, I feel like. Go ahead,
I don't know if the league is bad. I think the middle pack have gotten a lot better, and that's opened it up for everybody. Like Brighton is like
has the middle gotten better? Has the top gotten worse?
A little bit of both. No. I mean,
somebody back me on this,
right, guys? Statistically, the top has gotten a little worse, and the middle has gotten a little better. When you look at the numbers, and you look at the points, yeah.
What is Spurs doing there? Like, I don't understand why you get to achieve out of that.
Let's get on Macca's soapbox, trying to play out from the back when there's no need. That's what they're doing. It's okay to launch the ball now and again and get yourself reset up.
You sound like Graham Lasso. Like every time he's
well, I too read the Guardian newspaper, Matthew. So we're on the same wavelength. That was a thing. That was a thing in the 90s when Graham Lasso was playing like that. He was an intellectual because he read the Guardian newspaper and not the Mirror.
He wouldn't get the money, you see. City's on 6 straight, says Nick. Everyone else is trying to figure out their identities. I mean, honestly,
does that mean Arsenal the league is bad?
Has Arsenal become too much corner dependent that they can't even play out of open play now? Like, what the hell happened to them? They were able to create a lot easier. I did not turn on the game and watch it to avoid any jinxes, if you will. But Yeah, I mean, Nick says it's ours to win is my point when teams all. Yeah, I think a little consistency right now can get you a long way, and that's why I was kind of happy that this game kind of got postponed because I feel like we can use a breather over here. The midweek game doesn't mean as much. You can kind of get everybody some minutes, still get some rest, and get back into the Premier League action over here. But do you think then, Mecca, like the middle teams have gotten some close the gap, or the top teams just don't know what the hell they're doing right now?
Well, let me answer your question. Are you happy that they postponed the game yesterday? Because you haven't mentioned it once so far.
You got some room. Anytime I say Keller, anytime I say goalie, you're gonna say Keller. So you can't play this game.
No, let's do it. Let's rank the Premier League goalies right now on air.
Well, Kelleher would have been the best if the game wasn't postponed yesterday.
He would have fought the winds with his hands.
So much better.
What was I going to say? But no, I think the teams are starting to look at the middle pack teams are starting to realize they don't have to play like Stoke or Burnley to survive, and so they're becoming better football teams like Fulham and like Brighton, even Brentford to an extent. Even though they're quite a direct team, they do know how to play when they need to. Maybe not against the top teams. So I think that has improved. Like the whole rising tide raises all ships. But City being crap has also helped a lot because it drops the standard a little bit for the top six. They can, you don't have to be 100% perfect every time, even though we practically have been, which is why we are where we are. And that kind of institutional memory of having to get 99 points just to finish second. So I think it is a bit of column A and column B. But had the middle teams kept playing like Hodgson teams and Pulis teams, I think there would be a definite massive separation between the Arsenal, us, Chelsea, City, and everybody else.
So, okay, let me ask you that. Is that because, Mateusz, some of these teams like Brighton and stuff have had success against big teams playing like that? So people are like, shit, it is possible if you put together a good team. We don't have to just hope for the best and sit back.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go against the meta of, or it's going to go along the meta of play. I think we see, I guess I'll say generationally, maybe it's more decade by decade, the meta of the game of the sport itself changes from style to style. We see these patterns of play where you have teams that develop this new system that do it really well, and you have other teams that try to copy that. And eventually you get enough teams to do it where they're able to counteract it, not as well as the best teams that have perfected it, but good enough to compete sometimes. And then now when you add in the addition of the money in the Premier League, and I mean, yes, the likes of Ipswich don't have as much money as the top six teams, if you will, but the money in general in the Premier League is so much higher. You can afford to be able to buy better quality, whether it's not just players, but better coaches as well, better training staff, every aspect of it. It can be better because of the money that's available to you. Now, granted, the bigger clubs still have more money, so they can then buy those players from you. But if you have, let's say you're Brighton, you have this scouting department that you're able to invest in, and obviously it works because of the quality you can find in all these different places. I will hold for a Jackson miss. Then you get to allow yourself the opportunity to be able to compete with at least, if not for a year or two, before they get bought up by the bigger teams. But I think money plus just the meta of the game has allowed it to reach this point.
I think Mateusz makes a good point there that it also may influence their transfer strategies. Like if you're looking for players that are used to the Premier League, you'd be more inclined to go to a team that knows how to play. Like the top six teams all try and play constructive football. So if you're looking for a player that can slot into your team instantly, you're going to go to a player from a team who plays constructive football, as opposed to trying to convert somebody who's been like a midfielder who's done this under Sean Dyche. Like they'll be good for checking that the lights are all on in the stadium, but not much else. You'd have to retrain them. So I think clubs may have cottoned on that if they play a certain brand of football, the big teams will come to them to get their players which raises the bottom line. And that's what it's all about, boys, isn't it? The finances.
It is a business.
Not the trophies.
By the way, here's the difference between the Premier League and other leagues. They just throw paper and cardboards like over here.
Not lighters.
Any other stadium in like Istanbul or something like that, you'll be bottles and cans and all that kind of keys and shit like
clap
that.
Your hands.
That's
just clap your hands.
By the way, that Nick says it's because managers prioritize trying to coach for their next job. You think that like good managers coming in, and he says, but then they go Graham Potter on us. But I mean, that is a good point in terms of maybe like the managers coming in are coming in with a vision saying, well, I'm not going to just freaking play defense over here because I'm not going to go anywhere but Stoke after that if I do that.
I think it's a lot to do with the coaching culture. Like a lot of the middle teams have continental coaches now, like European coaches or South American coaches, if you want to go that far, who when they're on their coaching courses and getting their licenses, the thing that's impressed on them is the style of play. If you go to the Spanish Federation to do your UEFA badges, they're number one, they're dirt cheap. Number two, they don't care where you played. And number three, it's really easy to pass. The German Federation is the same, but what they do say is, here's the style of play. You must implement this everywhere. We're trusting you to do that, and we're giving you the knowledge to do that. And that's why those countries have like very defined set styles of play. The English managers, it's hugely expensive. They prioritize ex-professional players and put them in their own groups, and they don't associate with anybody that didn't play professional soccer almost. And when they leave, their only thought is, I have to make sure I have a job next year. So they do the thing that keeps them in that job next year. Whereas the European coaches are like, well, I'm going to have to identify with a style of play in Spain or in Italy or in Germany, and it's not lashing the ball into the box and putting it in the mixer and having a 6'10" centre half that can't kick a ball straight on the ground. So their mentality is probably for their next job, but also that their style of play has to match that next job. They're not going to Stoke. They think they're going to Juventus.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and that does make sense, especially like the background part of it. Actually, that's interesting because, yeah, it is definitely true. I just think, but then do you have to know where you come? I mean, like you look at Southampton, right? Mind you, we looked at Burnley last year, and the dude is like coaching Bayern now. But when you look at Southampton and they're trying, even though they probably shouldn't, like, what do you say to a team like that? Like I said, there's a Southampton fan somewhere saying, yeah, it's all fine and dandy when this shit works, or it usually blows up in your face. When you don't have the players and you're still trying to do it, ultimately, don't you have to coach to what the players you have?
But the players you have, whether you play one way or the other, you're not going to stay up, most likely. So why not play a brand of football that is at least somewhat exciting for the fans?
Is it exciting for the fans? Would you like to be a fan of a team that's giving away the ball constantly in their own like, you know what I mean, though?
Well,
like,
would you rather do that, take chances, or would you rather park the bus, not have the ball at all, maybe have 30% possession, and still lose 2-0 every game?
But doesn't mean you're going to lose 2-0 every game.
Probably because you're Southampton.
I think though it's like a part of the issue is seen as a diametrically opposed thing. You can defend any way you want with any quality of player you have. Defending is a mental and a physical thing. It doesn't require any skill on the ball. That comes after when you win it.
Okay, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No, I was thinking of you when I was saying that. But what I mean though is you can train a team to be pressing and to be outstanding at pressing, like Liverpool was, and you could do that with players that are not Virgil van Dijk or Mo Salah, and you can be effective at it. The thing is that when you get the ball, you're not going to have the quality to score, like to create goals. You maybe don't have the speed or you don't have the dribbling, which is the key thing in that is having players who can carry the ball. But you can do that. You don't have to sit back and play it long all the time to survive. And one way or the other, it really always comes down to, can you take the chances that you get presented? And if you can't, which is what most teams can't, that's why they don't like. That's why all the top forwards and top goal scorers are all at the bigger teams, because they eventually get bought up there. is if you can't convert those chances, then you're going to suffer at some point because you can't defend for 90 minutes. It's psychologically destroying to have to just keep.
Here's the thing, like with Southampton, for example, it's their attacking style. I mean, if you're trying to build from the back, you just don't have the quality of the players to do it. So you're giving the ball away when it's a 3v3, like half the game. That's not poor defending. You just putting yourself.
No. But what I'm saying though is that if you're Southampton and you want to play an exciting game, you can play your force ball out over the other team's defense and then press them from there.
Oh, okay. So like counter press.
Yeah, just pressing is exciting. We know that it's chaotic, but that's where the enjoyment is. You can make players like Darwin Núñez look absolutely fantastic sometimes by just the running around. Then when you actually have to sit back and construct with the ball, Darwin Núñez looks like a donkey. Do you know what I mean? It does look exciting, and you can generate that excitement from your fans if you do that. But if you don't have quality to convert, you're going to suffer eventually.
I bet you Núñez will be better in goal than Kelleher there because he has,
I hope he does.
So Mateusz, where are you heading off to, man? Where's the party?
Okay.
It's in the woods. He'll be with his stepson.
With Malor.
Blue is gonna go get a picture with Santa.
Wait. Time out.
I can't. I feel like I should have just made something up on air rather than actually said the truth.
I'm getting my wisdom tooth. Okay. To recap, for the audience who is not aware, and believe you me, I want to see these photos tomorrow at the morning coffee show. You're taking the dog.
Yes.
To the mall?
No. Okay.
Is there a private? Oh, I'm sorry. The Santa's coming to you since you're the twin, like to the castle.
How dare you think that I joined that
with the common folk
called a mall, all those germs. No, their groomer or her groomer, I should say. They sent out a mass text saying, "Hey, there's going to be Santa at the grooming place from 11 to 3 on Sunday." And we're like, yeah, we'll go. We'll take a picture with Santa for Blue, and we'll have it forever in our memories as the last December we have in this home. So that's it.
Is that because you're moving out of state out of embarrassment or having your kid or your dog in a Santa picture?
Yes. I'm actually changing my name, shaving my head. I'll be back on American Scouser next year as someone else. I still have to figure out whose identity I want to take.
Okay, well, you go.
Take Darwin's. Take Tiago's. Nobody knows who he is.
We will be back for the second half, Mecca and I cannot wait to talk. Since we don't have a game this weekend anyway, we needed some talking points. I can't wait to talk more about the Santa experience because I really want to know. Like, does the Santa ask the dog what they want for Christmas?
Dude, I have no idea what to expect.
That's why you're going to have to tell us tomorrow how that works. Mecca and I will be here for the second half. Going to take a quick break. Mecca has to eat probably like a sandwich or something like that. I have to help the wifey bring some Christmas totes down because, I don't usually participate in decorating parts, but I can bring totes down so that.
Because you're big and strong.
That part, yeah. Well, not to mention, if they're up on the attic. So there's that. But we'll be back. Take care. You have fun with the dog and say hi to Santa.
Will do.
back in action because the game is almost back in action. We do lose Matush, who's going to. Alan says he's actually the one that's going to sit on knee of Santa. Wants a new kingdom or something. I don't know what he's going to ask for, but he took the dog. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be. I can't wait for tomorrow morning. This is going to be. Have you ever taken any pets to see Santa, Mecca?
No, my pets are all indoors, and that's how they're going to stay. Except for that one time the boy cat escaped because I didn't realize he was that quick when we just got him and ran right out the door onto the deck, onto the slider door. And I just saw a blur of grey going underneath my feet and had to chase after him in Crocs, slipped, twisted my knee, and then just about caught him at the bottom of the stairs.
A cucurella, if you will.
Yes, it was basically a cucurella with less hair and more slippage.
No, yes, I have not. And the funny thing is, I was just like, I believe she didn't bring that Christmas stuff down, and I told her oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna give him a lot of shit tomorrow morning about it, and she's like, oh, that's kind of cute. Like, I was like, no, it's not. She's we would take them, but
it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you just ask a dog what it wants for Christmas, and it's treats and pets. That's it.
It makes the Santa's job easier. What I want to know is the Santa who's going to this place, and they're like, "What are you doing today?" They're like, "Are you going to an orphanage? Where are you going? To the mall?" No, I'm gonna go play Santa to the dogs who don't even know who I am. At least there's a certain appeal to being a Santa to kids, I would think.
Yeah, but like, you have to think of it from their point of view. They have to be grateful that it's not being a Santa for cats. Hi, little cat. It's Santa Claus.
It could be anybody. This is a vet, so it could be cats. It could be a lizard, probably. We'll find out tomorrow.
What do you want me to do about it? Go get me that thing over there that's only 2 inches from my paws that I want right now.
Yeah, I am like, you got cats, right?
I have 2 cats.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not a cat person.
No, I wasn't a cat person until I got the first cat. But like, we have 2 cats. They're a brother and a sister. The brother is the biggest, dopiest, lovable cat you've ever come across, and the little one is basically Lady Gaga on steroids. She is the diva of all divas.
Look, are they literally brothers and sisters?
Yeah, they're in the same litter. Yeah.
Ooh. Let's see how the second. I mean, really, the way the first half ended, it just felt like a matter of time, right, before Chelsea scores. I mean, I will love the score line to finish like this. Even a draw, I'd be okay with. But dude, who could have imagined this? I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm glad this game got postponed. And who would have imagined that all 3 of them would lose points on a weekend? This is like the 3rd weekend in a row where it could not have lined up any better for Liverpool.
I mean, it's one of those things where the only outcome here that doesn't suit us directly and immediately is Chelsea winning.
Yeah.
But I mean, as much as they say I could see Chelsea scoring at the end of that second half, I can also see Spurs scoring as well. That's how mad this game is. They just need one chance. And I don't think Maddison's on the pitch yet either, is he?
No. Ooh, what a save.
Yeah, that was a good save. Kelleher wouldn't have been able to do that.
He's actually a good goalie overall and like really good with his feet too. I think that's probably that's a great ball. Ooh, that was not.
I mean, he could have claimed that. He could have claimed
that. Wait, I forgot that he's playing, by the way. Scratch that. But this kind of game suits him a lot better, right? In goal. Because that's right. I forgot that they lost their starting goalie for
Fraser Foster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, he's so used to that like desperation saves thing.
Yes. I think like a game like this suits him better. Like, yes, keep him coming.
Yeah. But that's like, he kind of reminds me of Simon Mignolet. Simon Mignolet was actually very good in the games where the shots were raining down on us. It was when he had the time to think about what he was doing that he always messed up. Like, if they broke the offside trap at the halfway line and he had like 4 seconds to think about it, you knew he was going to mess up.
With Mignolet, I mean, dude, like, I was so worried. How was that not a foul when nobody touched the ball? Like the the crosses would just like always like scare me to death. Like any set piece, any corner, it would be ironic, to be honest, if Cucurella scored. But Spurs is just like when they're getting the ball out from the back in after this, where the front of the box is crowded, it's just mind-boggling. Like there's no reason for it. Like it's one thing to just go wide, like take some space, see if you have to put it up top or stop it. Now you can play it back because the middle is probably not as congested. No, like they have to go right up through the middle every single time. It's just crazy.
The impression I got like from Celtic fans was that like Ange kind of leaves a lot of it up to the players. Like whereas you can almost see with Slot, for comparison, that the players have to be in certain parts of the field when the ball is in X position.
Yes.
Like you know, they have to be at Y places. And Guardiola's a lot like that as well. That's not free-flowing football as much as people want to think. Like everybody has to be on a certain when Rodri gets the ball, like you know Haaland has to be making this run in this direction, and Grealish has to be tucking in from here, and it's the same all the time. I know it's damning by faint praise or backhanded compliment actually, but it's no different than what Hodgson was doing. It's just that it's 10 levels higher.
Yes,
it's just like 10 levels higher of quality and the demands. But I think Ange is very much of the kind of, you guys can sort a lot of this out. You don't need me telling you how to play. Because he's very much of the and it's a good philosophy to have if you're a youth coach, which is let the players enjoy the game. Like they have to.
Is it because of the squad he has, though? You think?
No, because he had the best squad in Scotland in Celtic, and he had the same thing with them too. I think it's just his philosophy.
That was
a good shot. It's a big thing in the Australian coaching to let players in team games figure the game out. Not just in soccer, but in Aussie rules and in rugby and all that. There's a great onus on putting the creative pressure on the players. Let them solve the problems because the coach is not seeing what they're seeing. That's always like Australia does a really good job on like teaching. Like teaching philosophy when it comes to sports. They invest a huge amount of money into it.
Oh, there comes Timo to miss a couple. Actually, this is a good Timo game in some ways.
It is,
if you can finish.
But it's all. You know what? It's almost unintentionally a good game because he'll get into the positions. He'll do a Nunes. He'll get into the positions to not finish, and that'll make the other team worry. Instead of them going, "It's Timo Werner. He's not going to score. Just forget about him.
Just let him go.
Leave him over there. He's giving us a goal kick." I mean, I enjoy the fact that Brendan Johnson is doing well at Spurs because it's a good advertisement for like the North American game that they can produce. Like we can produce players over here that can cope. That aren't just goalkeepers. That was the big thing for such a long time. Like the goalkeepers were great, but they were going to be because they were playing basketball and American football as well and baseball. So their hand-eye coordination was top notch. But I think that like seeing players in the European game, like Pulisic and all that, like that actually understand the game. They're not just athletes now. It's a good thing for American soccer. It's been a long time being created.
Yeah. There he is.
Like intentionally so. Like the US coaching model is pretty much where the UEFA coaching model was in the early 2000s, which is like teaching the game in the game. There's no drills. It's just like you play your attack versus your defense, and then you're working on the defense, and you just keep repeating the same thing so that everybody gets a picture of it. But you learn how to do what you're supposed to do while doing it, and as opposed to like five kids because it comes from youth coaching. 5 kids on this cone, 5 kids on the other cone. Just pass and run to the back of that line. Pass and run to the back of that line. Pass and run to the back of that line. Like it doesn't doesn't make you better at understanding what's going on.
I feel like some of the coaching over here is like it's so commercialized and people are trying to cash in. So there's so many of these clubs where there's like just absolutely no coaching. And I guarantee you a lot of talent is just being wasted. And even if it is like I've seen it obviously like Jasmine and Layla and like girl soccer and stuff like that, it might not be wasted forever, but you are wasting precious learning years for a lot of the stuff, whether it's footwork, whether it is like tactics and stuff like that, where they're playing until somebody realizes, hey, you're just way too good for this club. They're in a club, so they figure, it's a dude with a British accent, so I must be getting good coaching kind of a thing. But that's not always the case. It's just a dude who happened to be there and knows soccer doing coaching.
This is going to sound like a terrible thing to say from an Irishman and from somebody who was involved in coaching over here for so long. And who has friends, like British friends, who are very good coaches. But there is an awful lot of British. I'll even give you the identikit of them. But they're young British coaches with the gelled up hair, the 3/4 length pants, and the clipboards. And they think that because they've done the fundamental FA coaching courses, like the very first ones, that this is just America. They get away with some of the worst. They say all the right things. They have all the buzzwords, but they don't understand they don't just understand kids. They don't understand how to develop kids.
Know the game, maybe not the coaching. Ultimately,
I don't think they understand the game either.
You don't think so?
I've been in so many meetings with those people at club level where they didn't know I was from Europe, and they tried to do the spoof thing of like, I've got this UEFA badge and I've got that UEFA badge. So then I remember one time it was like, all of your coaches, there was a company trying to take over the coaching at the club I was at. It was a town club. It wasn't club coaching, it was town coaching. And he said all the right things and all the right buzzwords and all the phrases and all that. So, and he said, and I guarantee all of our coaches are at least UEFA B license. And I was like, why are they coming over here if they have the UEFA B license? And then he heard my accent. And he was like, well, a lot of them are going for the UEFA B license. And I was like, well, that's a 2-year process, which it was in those days when I did them. That's a 2-year process. So
really,
when are they going back to do their clock hours? Because you can't do them over here. You have to do them with like the club in your country. And then he started stuttering because he knew his law had been, undermined. And there's a lot of that. It's way better now, but there was a lot of that kind of spoofery going around. They all look exactly the same. They all are young. They're young coaches. Some of them want to genuinely become professional coaches, and they put a lot of heart and soul into it. But a lot of them are over here because they want to have a bit of a free vacation time in America. They want to meet some American girls, and they want to say they've coached in another country because it looks good.
I think it'd be like me going back to like Turkey and be like, I'm an American football coach. You guys run. We're gonna run the ball.
It'd be exactly like that.
He's talking about. I think it's pretty much similar to that because I know enough of the game, but I don't know enough of the game to be nowhere near a coach or anything like that over here. But I can go back there, and I'm one of the most knowledgeable guys on the game suddenly.
Yeah.
And I can kind of say, we got to run. You got to block this way. The opening has to be here. And they're like, this guy really knows what he's talking about gaps and shits. Like, so I think that, I find it similar to that. But I would think that will be changing now.
It is changing, man, because, as I said, the USSF changed their entire coaching model. So it's more like the European one where you have to know the game. You're not just running drills now. You have to know the game to know what you're looking at, and not just
that is a horrible fucking tackle. I mean, that is a horrible fucking tackle.
Did he give a penalty for it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I thought he was pointing to the corner, and it's Anthony Taylor, so you never know.
Yeah, He's like, I didn't see anything.
But I'm gonna
say
this. I say it on every Discord channel during games. Players are stupid. They are stupid.
That is just a dumb. I mean,
he's not even like you stand up to that, and he's running it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, just escort him outside. Yeah, that is
just for the chest bump. I hope they miss.
That is just abysmal.
I'm calling a Fraser Foster save here. This is his wheelhouse.
This
is the only time he gets to be a hero.
Wow, that was just like, I mean, seriously, you didn't even get close. And yeah, that is just such a unnecessary. And this Caicedo going too. Like, you got to know who, where, when, and like, defend accordingly. Spencer says Spurs are so bad. I think just defensively, they're just like all over the place because they don't want to defend. They want to keep attacking and doing their thing. They just don't want to buckle down and just defend the lead or something like that. I would never have faith in them doing anything like that.
That's good because I'm pretty sure Postecoglou doesn't even do any defending trying.
Probably not, yeah.
I mean, it was the same with Rodgers at Liverpool. There was no defending sessions at all, like other than like the old. I'm sure you've done it because we did it when I was a kid. You get like rope or something like that on your back four, and everybody's holding the rope, and then when it moves that way, everybody has to move that way. Like, and that was it. That was the back four figuring out their positions.
Oh yeah, he was.
But yeah, I can't imagine there's too much in depth. But again, just by comparison, I'm pretty sure Slot does a ton of it with us because we look so much more structured. It
seems like it, right? Like when you look at it, it seems like there is a lot more being talked about, and he's a lot more adamant. I honestly think, like what you were talking about earlier when we were talking about Postecoglou and stuff and comparing. I think it's similar to Klopp in that same sense too. I feel like Klopp left a lot more leeway in terms, not during the press, but overall in terms of up top, what's to happen. I just feel like there's a bit more structure to it now. That's not always a good thing, by the way. I mean, you can look at it both ways. As long as it's working, it's good. So when Klopp was doing it, it was working. If you have the players to do it, then it's good. But what happens is when that shit doesn't work on, there's no plan B. I just feel like there's a bit more structure to it, good or bad. Yeah, I see Spurs giving this up.
Or clicking into gear all of a sudden now that it's essentially 1-0 again.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, though. To be fair, they did have some chances, but it's Cucurella's cleats that kind of gave him the leads.
I think
Kulusevski gets tired, dude. After like 55, he's like worthless.
I think that if this goes against Spurs, Big Ange's under massive pressure before Christmas to start getting some results.
You think so? Where are they at? Let's take a look at where they're at in the league, I guess.
I think they're like 12th or something, or 11th.
Are they really? Oh shit, they are 11th right now. If this game ends like that, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, here's the thing: like the way the league is, I mean, United is 13th. With all their misery, but they're like, 6 points away from being 5th. So there's not a huge gap. That middle is so freaking tight, man. It's unreal.
That's what she said. You asked to be on the show.
Oh, man. Where did that comment go? Yeah, Spencer said just when you think they can't get more Spursy, they say hold my beer.
Yeah. They are, like, my cousin's a huge Spurs fan. He has been all his life. I don't get it because they weren't even like good in Ireland at the time, the way like Liverpool, United, and Arsenal were. But even he admits like that there's just something about Spurs that they wrestle defeat from the jaws of victory so frequently. It should be their motto.
And it doesn't help when it happens over and over and over again. It just reinforces the paranoia, I would think. And it does happen. They make it happen. And they have the players like you, like anytime like they come by the box, you're like, hey, they can make something happen, except when team has the ball. But
he is so bad.
I just don't. And at the time, like I was like intrigued by him, like when we were rumored to get him, like Bundesliga, German, Klopp, blah blah blah. He has the pace. I thought, and I don't know, like do you think he would have done well, for example, if he came to us that time?
I don't know. He just doesn't have doesn't have the brains. He
Is he
looks
going to
like
be another Nunez?
he looks like one of those players that I would love to see a picture of him when he was like 13, 14, 15 as a player, because I have a feeling he was the tallest player on his team. And then everybody else grew, like, because that's that age effect thing. Like, people look at the like scouts and all that, look at the earliest developers because they stand out in games at the youth level, and then they just get put into the system and they never leave it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I know what you mean.
So if he was like a smaller kid, like one of the smallest in the team, I don't think we'd have ever heard of Timo, and he'd be working, in the German public accounts or something like that at this point.
I wonder, because when you watched him in like Leipzig, he looked a player, like not just a speedster, like he looked a player, but like now you look at him and it's like nowhere near what you saw then. Kevin says he doesn't really have a problem.
I mean, people have been burned by Leipzig before, haven't they?
Yeah,
players that look fantastic for Leipzig.
But to be fair, that was because of injuries, right?
Which they didn't.
He was healthy. Like, Keita had
check. Don't tell them about his hamstring.
Alan says just about the right time for Spurs to sack a guy playing attacking footy and bring in some European joke of a manager to win them nothing. I don't know. I
think that ex-manager's Graham Potter if they got rid of Ange.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I really like Postecoglou for like the way he talks, things he says. I think his press conferences and stuff like that. He reminds me of Klopp in that sense, where he's like his philosophy overall on things I really like and enjoy, but just like some of the things, like when you do the same thing and it keeps freaking blowing up in your face, you gotta like make an adjustment. You gotta change something, I would think, because
like if you went to
in the beginning
back or something different, just to give the players something more to think about, that might help. But he literally never changes anything.
No, and I understand if you were new and you said, hey, 6 months down the road, when we do this perfectly, it's going to be great. We're not going to have any of these issues. I get that. But you can't say that anymore when it's year after year and you've gotten the people you have. Just like make an adjustment, for God's sakes. Well, then Palmer was holding his foot for a second. I'm sure entire freaking, I just got stepped on. Unless he broke a toe in there or something. Because honestly, this is what happened to Faddy with Brighton. Remember, he was in our game, and then he came off. Then they played him again on the weekend. He actually scored, and then he's been out since because I think he had something broken in that foot that looked fine initially, but he's off.
That was clever.
Yeah, that should be off.
Really clever.
Bullshit.
Ooh.
I hate that. As a defender, I fucking hate that. I don't care if he's touching the ball. He's in the play. He's affecting how I defend. I hate that shit with a passion. Like, I've done my job. I have the guy offside. Give me the goddamn ball. He's off. He's in the play. We stop.
Yeah, but
he's going to the ball. That pisses me off as a defender because, it's a challenge to get that guy, set your line so that guy is off. So to reward the other team for some like cheesy tactic like that just freaking kills me.
It is the rule, though. It's not an offense to be in an offside position. It's only an offense to receive
you're in the
ball.
Play.
That's not the rule.
I know.
You're the referee course. This is what you have to know.
But it was the rule.
This is going to be you. This is going to be you in your exam. No, I don't care. It's the rule. It's wrong. It's morally wrong.
It is morally wrong. I don't know. But it was the rule before, right? Like, it was when the ball was kicked, not when you touched it or whatever.
No, you have to receive the ball, or unless you're interfering with the vision of the keeper.
But you're interfering with the vision of the defender. You're interfering with the play. Like, you're in the play. You're like, okay, right?
Yeah, but as long as you, right?
I stop defending. I mean, that's on him to raise his hand and just fucking stop. You can keep jogging that way. You don't have to be that lazy, but it should be over. I've done my job. He's off.
I mean, that's how it used to be.
That's what
If
I'm
you
saying.
remember,
It used to
that's
be
how
like
it used
that.
to be. Yeah, you couldn't. There was no.
It should
If
have
you
stayed like
remember
that.
do you remember when they changed it? Ruud van Nistelrooy caused a lot of goals for United by being deliberately offside and then walking back with his hands up like that.
Yep.
Remember that? And defenders didn't know what to do with that. Like there's never been a rule that soccer has messed up so much and so often and so regularly than the offside law, which should be really an objective thing.
Yeah,
I would be happy if anything offside was offside.
Yes.
But then when they did that, if you remember again, like there's a great clip of a Liverpool non-goal. It had everything in it but the goal. I think it was against United. Both teams were literally like this close together over the halfway line. Alan Hansen lobbed the ball over the top and United pushed up, but Hansen kept running. He ran through 2 lines, like over 30 yards, and then collected the ball. Kenny Dalglish, I think, trailed him and he passed it off to Kenny Dalglish and Dalglish missed a 2-on-1. But like that's how it was, and that's how it got so bad in those days that the like offside was offside regardless of anything else. That teams were literally parking. It was like World War One. There was like a trench in the middle.
Keep the guy on the other side and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. I feel like we should go back to that on this. Like, why did we change it? Again, is it
because it was essentially goals kept going down. I think it happened after the 1990 World Cup. There was the least amount of goals ever scored per game.
Here we go. Yeah,
to be fair, that's because Ireland were playing in it.
Now he's going to score. I just said that, but
I haven't even looked at the subs. Is Madison on the bench?
He is.
Okay, because he's such a wind-up merchant.
Yeah,
you can see him scoring and doing the arrows thing. Just at the Chelsea fans.
A game this open really suits him.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that was like a good ball.
It was a good ball. And I was only going to say earlier on, and I forgot to say it, like in the first half, that you don't see the glancing header to the back post as much anymore. And that was one. It's just he was too close. He was too close to the back post.
Hansen and Kenny, 2 of the goats, he says.
I always I still think the greatest person to ever be attached to Liverpool is probably Kenny Dalglish. I know.
Gerrard. I started watching and admiring.
But I just didn't think Shankly started it all off, but for what Kenny Dalglish went through with Hillsborough and all that, and then his greatness as a player and his success as a manager, I don't think anybody has given more to the club than Kenny Dalglish did over the years. But Gerrard is the one pretty much the young people consider the greatest ever.
Yes, I think that's kind of like a generation thing. Just because you didn't watch him or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, like growing up, like watching him, that's kind of like the first player that I was like, holy cow. And then like Barnes and stuff like that. It kind of like changes obviously over the years as the teams change.
And he was so funny. Like if you watch interviews with him, he's so dry but incredibly insulting.
Oh my God.
Is that called Palmer?
That's Enzo, but it's Palmer basically taking 8 guys on and the rebound falling to him. This is a classic Spurs performance happening over here, right in front of our eyes. Yeah, that's
he knows he's got a limited time now, and you can see that in his face.
Did they just break the corner flag?
Probably.
I mean, look at that. 1, 2. How many guys are in front of him? Like, there's 4 guys in there, dude. And I know it's in the box. They're afraid to pass. That's one thing I think Palmer does really well. He gets in the box where everybody's afraid to like touch him because he's just gonna, he can earn a PK. But I mean, there's like 4 guys in there, really.
What I would say, this is not like a wild comparison. It's just literally about like style of play. But he's almost like the English Suarez. Like Suarez had the habit of such a good dribbler that the ball would bounce lucky for him all the time.
I find Jota like that.
I don't really I don't really see Jota as like a dribbler. I think he's more like a Harry Kane almost. He's just always in the right spot to get a
I
good
know
shot
he
on goal.
dives into some situations when he's dribbling, like where there'll be people in front of him, and whatever happens, it's just like the ball gets knocked down and folds in front of him again. Like when he's not a big dribbler, he doesn't take people on a lot. I guess they did break the flag. We have to replace it. And now Chelsea is 4 points away, obviously, with the game in hands. Who would have thought?
I just don't think they'll stay the course. I think when it comes to like the FA Cup and all that, like Maresca might want a chance at a trophy if it looks like they have one. I think he might focus on that. Like take his eye off the ball 1 week, and that's when things unravel.
Can we also stop this head injury bullshit? Like there has to be. I know if he wasn't hanging out with Santa, Mateusz would say too. Mateusz actually wants like them to look at it afterwards and come back and like pass out punishments for people like faking head injuries when there's no contact with the head at all, because it has become like the way to stop the game now. Because laying down used to be and is not enough anymore is now holding your face randomly so the game stops. And I realize why they're doing it. I understand it, but it just feels like it's worse than laying down now. Is it just me? Because this looks more fake. At least in the past, I could be like, I mean, it could have hurt. You never know. Now I'm like, nobody even touch your face. You're just totally faking it.
I mean, if you've seen enough head injuries or you watch enough MMA, you'll know that nobody's going down holding their face if they have a genuine head injury. Like, and you would think there'd be some sort of training for referees for like at that level to spot what's a genuine head injury and what's a, because it's not head injuries, it's concussive head injuries they want to be watching out for. You know, if you get accidentally poked in the eye with somebody's little finger, like that's not worth a trip to the MRI or anything like that.
Alan says, "What is the length of Postlego's contracts?"
What's left in the half? 14 minutes.
I mean, you would think he probably has like a year left or something like that. You would think. Oh, now this guy is hurt now, so they came back and they're leaving. I love the stupid comments of people's Telegram and shit like that to watch the game. So if you're following us on Facebook, don't fall for any of that stupid shit. And if you're posting that stupid shit, get the hell out of here. I mean, all you're doing is getting blocked and your comment deleted. Just wasting my mouse battery life by doing a couple of clicks over here. Van der Ven looks done. I just had a deja vu, man. Is this like the same as the City game or what? A couple of kids coming in?
No, here's Madison, I think.
Oh, there's Madison coming in. Gray. Actually, that kid, I don't know his name. Can't remember his name. The one on the left-hand side there was pretty darn good when he came in. But yeah, this is like truly a deja vu moment. Husako was like, save me, kids. Bagwell, that's what his name is. So Kulusevski coming out, you would think?
I'm just enjoying the head ringing there. Do you know what? I think they should get rid of these electronic scoreboards now that you can make 5 substitutes and just get those old number flipper things that we used to have.
I mean,
it's quicker. Look at how long that takes.
Quicker. That's because the guys are morons. Is there a number pad or do they have to go up and down on that? Maybe just put like a keypad in there instead of going. Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a number pad in there to be able to put 66 on there or something like that. But yeah, thanks for the penalty, bro. Appreciate it. Anthony Taylor's like, I know why you guys are running around. I'm here. Nobody's taking a kick yet.
I want to know if the Spurs players like like all because he looked all pissed off, taking off his hand wrap there. Like, why is he taking me off? That's ridiculous. Because again, players are stupid.
Do they
He
beat you up if you
probably
go to the
doesn't think.
sideline with the wrapper still on? Because I see that as like the first thing that comes off now instantly.
Say that again.
The wrap like comes off instantly, regardless of where it's at. If somebody gets taken off, like as they do the walk around, that's the first thing that comes off.
I mean, it doesn't even make sense. I bet they're not. They don't even have injuries that need it. Like Suarez didn't. When he had that wrap. Yeah. That was just a superstition thing.
Let's see how Chelsea hold. I have more faith in Chelsea. Like if it was a 3-2 Spurs lead, I would have said, I don't know if Spurs are going to hold on. But so Gray came in for Vanderman, looks like, right? Did he come off? Yeah, he did. So Gray came in for him. Oh, there you go. He's who should I get next?
Count Orlock.
Somebody give me Potter's number.
Yeah, Van de Ven went off. Romero went off. Kulusevski went off. Basuma went off, and Van de Ven. For the very Cockney named Archie Gray from the East End of London.
Yeah, this is just gonna be a. I almost feel like I have more faith in Chelsea getting a fourth here on a counter to an already not defending Spurs.
I think you might be right, but I think there's the fact that they're insisting on playing out the back still. There's also a chance that they make a mistake.
There's Timo. Timo.
He should marry that Simone Biles one and take her name as his last name. He could be Timo Biles.
I think she's taken, isn't she? Doesn't she already have a soccer?
That's what we have. That's what we have divorce for.
Oh, okay.
She should get divorced just
we'll
so
get that going.
So my joke can come true.
A dream.
I bet if they did a statistical analysis, they would find a huge percentage of corner kicks are overhit. And if that is the case, I don't know why teams don't put players in those positions for the overhit corner to collect.
I was say, is it more overhits or more underhit, you think? Another penalty. Are you serious? Like these are just like dumb penalties to give too. And this is what I mean by Palmer. See, like he's in the box, just moving around, just waiting for somebody to do something stupid. And like you said, it's been a lot easier lately to find that. And there you go. Boom. You can kind of put a fork on this one.
And Celtic aren't even doing bad, so we can't go back there. They're in fact doing really well. Even in the Champions League, they actually with a chance of going into the next round.
Yep, he'll score this. Oh.
That was a cheeky penalty.
That was. Wow. I mean, if you're a Spurs fan, this has to just. We'll find out on Tuesday from Jake. But I mean, he even says that it's just like very frustrating to watch this team. But he was like saying, I was asking him actually this week that it's almost like numb sometimes just watching this team. Like you can't get worked up or hopeful or whatever because this is what you're going to get exposed to.
See, Cole Palmer reminds me a little bit of David Beckham. in the sense that on the field he is probably like Einstein level genius in how he thinks about the game. But off the field, when you listen to him in interviews, he's an absolute moron.
Yes.
I don't breathe oxygen, I breathe air. He didn't say that, but that's what he would say.
Hey, look at Kane. I mean, he's thriving with that.
You get the feeling that Enzo, like, he's not going to follow the usual pattern of footballers and go into coach, and it looks like he's just going to start his own cartel when he retires.
If he doesn't already have one.
Everybody else goes to, like, you know, Barbados or Goa for their holidays. Every other football player, but he goes to like, yeah, Central America and spend. Oh no, he goes to Russia and spends some time in the Russian prison to get more tattoos.
I'll tell you what, one advantage Chelsea has, we were talking about this, like the way they can, because of they're in the conference thing in Europe, they are able to rotate a lot more. Are they good enough, though, to win in the Premier League week in and week out, you think?
I think it'll be different once it gets into the knockout stages for that. Because I think the best thing Maresca can do is win a trophy in his first year. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there'll be a drop off once it looks like they might be in with a chance of one. He'll have to start making some decisions week to week.
And use Palmer midweek as well and stuff, you're saying?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Like, you know, especially if they're drawn against a strong opposition team. I don't know who's in the Europa Conference, though.
I don't know.
Here,
let's look, I guess. But I can tell you the Chelsea are the favorites. Ranking the favorites, let's see. Okay, where's this article? There we go. Real Betis, Fiorentina. I mean, is this article serious? They have like Copenhagen. Oh, but they're like 16. Chelsea. Yeah, this is like a really half-ass article that I have found over here. Oh, okay. Fiorentina, Real Betis, and Jesus, it goes down from there, dude. It's Guimarães, Heidenheim, Rapid Vienna. And I think did it stop where the Europa guys get demoted? Because I know the Champions League.
Yeah, no, I think it might have done, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the Europa thing got, because that's how the Conference League got trickier, because you got some guys from the Europa League there. But yeah, this game is basically, I mean, from 2-0 to give this game up. And to be fair, they got those 2 goals with 2 slips. I think Chelsea will feel really good about themselves, saying we gave goals up to a couple of slips and then still came back and won the game.
I think the funny thing is that, like, the kit man is probably going to get, like, shouted at more than the players would for giving up the 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing, though, right? Like, we're outside looking in, and it is banter and everything like that. But, I mean, you almost know, right? Like, even when they were up 2-0, you were like, it's the Spurs. Can't get too excited. I mean, I don't think I felt confident in that City game until it was 3. And even then, it was like, well, as long as they don't concede early and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like, it's just the team. Spencer says, watching the Spurs watch-along, he said it's impossible to explain this team. And yes, and that's the thing. Like, is it even a bottle job thing? I don't even know. Like, do you consider this bottling a game? Because I never even consider them to be. I guess maybe we're so afraid that they're gonna bottle it. I don't even consider that they're bottling it at this point. They're just being themselves.
I mean, I think if you have a 2-0 lead, even if it's fortuitous, and if you know you're going through an iffy patch, then, you know, maybe, as we talked about earlier, maybe change something up for this one little period or this one little game so you can get a bit of confidence back. But we knew they were going to play open. We knew they were going to keep trying to attack and play out from the back and suffer for it, and they did. Although, you know, we talk about 2 slips from Chelsea, but two stupid decisions from Spurs has made this a 4-2 games, which is
yes, that's true. That's true. But I mean, to be fair though, without those stupid decisions, we just felt it was a matter of time.
No, probably still a matter of time, but you don't want to. You don't want to make it easy. That was also done. Like players kicking the ball into defenders' legs, I don't get. Defenders must love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you don't want to give the other like penalties are free goals essentially, given the statistical probability of scoring one. It's like 75% or something like that for every individual penalty. So you don't want to give free goals away. Like if you're gonna give those two penalties away, make it worth something, like a last ditch tackle kind of a thing, to give yourself a chance.
Here's the thing. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, look at the subs they're putting in. This is like a really, really good squad, but it still hinges all on Palmer.
Yeah, because it's a game like it's a game of moments, football. So it's a game of difference makers. Like what do you call them over in American sports? Clutch players.
Yeah.
That they make the most money. I don't know whether they make the most money in baseball or basketball or whatever over here, but in soccer, like if you can, if you could buy a sub that would guarantee you 2 goals but could only last 20 minutes a game, you'd buy that sub for whatever money it took.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Within your budget, because
what the fuck was that? Was that Son? Or was that Gray? So no, it's not. Poor Gray's in the back. I'm sorry, man. Like, didn't want to blame him for that horrible pass, but
see, if I was Liverpool, I'd be looking at this situation and seeing if I could tempt Son to Liverpool for like a 2-year thing, given his age, because he's still a good player. He's just in the wrong environment.
I don't know, man. Like, is he gonna do the work? You think, especially at this age? How old is he now? I guess let's look at that.
Was he? What, 41 maybe? I think it's the same age as Salah.
Yeah, but we don't sign players that old. You know what I mean? Like, he's 32. Like, you're not gonna spend, unless because he's not gonna come for like 15, 20. If you're getting a 15, 20 million dollar guy, I'm okay with those signings, like we did with Shaq and stuff like that. Like, like towards the end of the career, but whatever. But I don't think you're getting Son for that much. If anything, I can see them, a Saudi team coming for him or something like that.
Yeah. Or
I think in that way they really changed the market, because some of these guys that you might be able to, like you're saying, get at a bargain because it's like the lower end of the career and stuff. Those are far in between now, because those guys go there for higher wages.
And no morals if you're Jordan Henderson.
Or that, yes. But he went there to change the world. Didn't work. Like, from there, he went to Netherlands, where it's a free for all.
he went.
Everything is a free for all.
He went to change the world of Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, more than
change the world of Jordan Henderson's accountant.
Yeah, and Portugal. I mean, that'll be interesting to see. There's no like international breaks or anything like that coming up either, dude. Like, so it's really tricky to make, I think, manager changes at this point. But
I don't think that factors into Levy's thinking ever.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But also, I think if you that's why I'm thinking like Graham Potter is free and clear, has no baggage whatsoever with him contractually, as far as I know. So like that, like something like getting rid of Ange Postecoglou and bringing in Graham Potter, who we know is known for his defensive work more than he was his attacking work, as much as he tried to pass the ball around from the back and all that. But his teams were always more defensive. So that might also be an attractive thing. But it's just like pay up the contract for getting Ange and his staff out, and then not having to pay a contract to the new manager because he's already looking for a job.
Here's the deal. Like, as much as we talked about their high line and all that kind of stuff, how many goals do you think Spurs have conceded?
I don't know. Look, I haven't even looked at that
15
part.
games. How many do you think the way they play? Because I'm actually amazed that this number is this low, personally.
15?
19.
19.
I mean, I consider low because, I mean, obviously we know Brentford, but Brighton, Villa, heck, I mean, Man City are higher. And I know you talked about Man City struggling, but I would really, I still would say I would have guessed a lot higher. I'm assuming this includes this game, but did they get a penalty out of this or no?
Free kick, I think.
Oh. Madison is like, that's not where you put the ball. This is where you put the ball because I'm taking it.
But this is just kind of expands the overall American Scouser universe. This is part of my problem with Darwin Núñez, is that if they had Harry Kane, it might be a different story, Spurs, because they could at least get a goal from those rare attacks that they do have. Whereas if you don't have a goal scorer up there that can put the ball in regularly, your openness is going to hurt you because the other team has a different. They can stick to their plan essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The Núñez thing, and we'll probably talk about it since obviously we don't have a game, and that's been one of the talking points this week. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow, podcast and stuff like that as well. But I'm just done with that experiment. It's just like losing hope all the time, and I like his defense being, or. And I mean, it's not like we want him to succeed. I wanted him to succeed. I hoped for him to succeed, but it's just not happening. And the defense of it being is how hard he tries is just. I'm not buying it anymore because I mean I would try hard too.
Ooh, a minute to get it.
And is this why Madison should have been in earlier? You think? Because that was Madison, right?
But I think like
the pass or no? I think that is Madison. That's a good ball. That's a FIFA goal. It is Madison.
Look, but Núñez, he's just such a likable character that you want him to succeed, but he's not a talented character for our team. We can't afford to be. We can't afford.
And you can be a good player, but not be good enough for Liverpool.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, like he doesn't have to be called garbage or he doesn't know blah blah. He's a good player, and he can finish. He's just not good enough and consistent enough to be a Liverpool player. I mean, that's just basically the bottom line. I mean, there are players. I don't know. Let's think of a player over here that we replaced with somebody else who wasn't bad, but I don't know, like Moreno. Moreno wasn't a horrible player. He had a lot of years kept going, but he was just not good enough and consistent enough and defensively solid enough to be playing for Liverpool, for example. I mean, doesn't mean you're like a terrible player if you're not good enough to be on the squad where you're playing with players like Ali, Van Dijk, Mo. I mean, players that are best in their positions in the world and stuff.
I like for me though, I think the two positions that kind of outcome is more important than performance is goalkeeper and goal scorer, whoever your main goal scorer is, because they're judged by what their task is, which is to put the ball in the back of the net or keep the ball out of the back of the net. So you can do all the other good things, but if you're not fulfilling your actual task, then you're in trouble. Well, that's and that's one thing about like say goalkeepers. Like people judge a lot of goalkeepers based on how they do with the ball at their feet. And I don't care what a goalkeeper can do with the ball at their feet. If they can't keep the ball out of the bloody net, they're the only ones that are allowed to use their hands to do that. So if they can't do it, they're not doing their job. I don't care if they can pass the ball brilliantly between the back four and launch attacks. That's a nice thing to have. But it's
yeah,
but
I know what you mean. But in today's game, for example, do you want a striker that, he gets goals, but he can't contribute to any other part of the game? And that's the final.
Yeah. Well, I would have a striker who doesn't do anything else except put the ball in the back of the net if that meant we win trophies.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously,
but a striker like Núñez who doesn't even get shots on goal with any regularity, because there's games go by when he doesn't even get a shot, not let alone force the goalkeeper to save. And to me, that's just he's not fulfilling the task that he's assigned in his position. Just like Spurs can't fulfill the task they're assigned, which is to actually show up with a balanced team that knows how to hold on to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this right now, I mean, this is shocking, I think, overall, like where Chelsea is, where City is. I mean, these are things that you don't expect, where Forest is. I mean, there's like, and I honestly, I would rather much have this league where, I mean, we're on top. Aside from all that, but yeah, I mean, 4 points ahead with a game on hand against Chelsea is not too shabby. Let's pull this up real quick, I guess, while we're in here, so we can kind of like see. I mean, they have Brentford next week. That is a tough one. Then they go to Everton. I mean, the Palace away, I'm sure Kevin can tell you, is always going to be a tough away game. But don't see a lot of. Do you see anything that's like telling you? I know about Brentford because Brentford can score loads on them, it feels like, right? Because they can finish. They have guys who put the ball in the net. But you don't see a lot of fixtures here until they get to this end of January over here that you're like, hey, they'll definitely lose points there. But
no, well,
do you say, hey, Chelsea is not guaranteed to win all these games?
I'm gonna say the Everton one might be a tough one. I mean, is that the
Because of the
game?
style of match you're saying? Because it is at Everton too, yeah.
Is it at the new stadium or is it at Goodison?
I thought Goodison, like the new stadium is next year. The only reason
is it next year? Okay,
is because
it's the last. Okay, yeah. Because I got the impression from some of the stuff yesterday that we're not playing them at the new place now for some reason.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
No, that's just the way the social media stuff is going.
Oh, okay.
But okay. I still think Everton is a tricky one because they're going to play the game that Chelsea don't necessarily really like. I think Chelsea works really well against teams that want to play from the back as well as they do. I'm not so sure that they're as comfortable with, grenades being dropped on their head every 10 seconds and having to rebuild because the other team just keeps launching the ball. And Fulham are dangerous regardless. They're not consistent and predictable in their danger, but they're capable of pulling like the results out of their asses. Palace and Chelsea, though, I think Palace are. It's not Hodgson's Palace. You keep thinking it's Hodgson's Palace, but it's not.
Palace away is always tough. I think that's like, if you were home at Palace, I would say, oh, they're not going to have any issues. But I know what it is. Palace away is always a tough one. And I don't know, like they have these games. I think this is in some ways, not a tough fixture, but it will be a very telling fixture in terms of can they get 3 points from these games that are on paper lesser teams, but that are going to probably play you a lot more physical and defensive as opposed to like Spurs, where it's just like a free-for-all and very open game that, Chelsea has a lot of quality that they can take advantage of that. But what are the plans for the rest of the day over here? Are you going to sit on Santa's knee, taking the cats to Santa?
I am not. I'm going to go to some sort of theater presentation talk on serial killers tonight. One of those guys that's on those.
That almost sounds scary. Like, are they going to go around murder some of the audience, or like?
You better not murder me. You have to be in work now on.
Yeah, I'm just here to watch.
I'll just watch that. Yeah, get that one. Get that one over there. But yeah, no, it's one of those guys that's in, always in those serial killer documentaries on Netflix and things like that, and Life on the Trail of a Serial Killer or something. He has a presentation, so I'm going to go along. I got tickets to it.
Interesting, actually. In a certain kind of way, I find that stuff fascinating and mind-boggling. So I do watch.
It's more an early Christmas present for the wife because she likes that kind of stuff. I think the pressure of having to live in a world with serial killers is a lot less than the pressure I'm going to have to feel this week going into work. So it's a bit of light relief.
Or the pressure of being a Spurs fan. So, yeah.
Or that, yeah.
But hey, you have a great day. Thanks to all those joining our chats over here. If you have not already, give us a subscribe, a like, thumbs up to the channel, and all that kind of good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Prince. Cannot wait to hear more about Santa at the vet with the dog. So do tune in for that. But have a great Sunday, rest of your day. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.